So I just wanted to do a quick introduction. This video is one that Mitch and I did like a few years ago when we made a video for a teacher friend of ours. Same teacher friend sent us some interview questions and asked us if we would help her out. So we did, and I was like, well, you know what? We haven't posted a video in a while, so maybe people like it. Who knows? I mean, the other one was kind of cool, but let us know what you think. If you want more, if you want to know more, I mean, can help some. I mean, we can talk some. So just let us know. Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Alright. Answering questions, interview questions. First interview question is, were you born blind? Mitch?
Yes, I was born blind. Always been blind for the most part and stuff, but
Did it change at all?
I don't think so.
So you've always had the same?
But my doctor says it hasn't changed, but I think it's either changed some over the years, or I'm just not quite as brave as I used to be. Because when you get older, not quite as brave in doing things, because I guess when you run into stuff or something, things hurt more. But I think it's changed a little bit over the years. But my doctor says it hasn't. So
the reason I asked is I was born nearsighted in both eyes, but when I was 2.5, I lost sight in my right eye, retina detachment. And the doctors had told my parents that eventually I would possibly lose the sight, one or both my eyes. And then when I did lose the sight in my right eye, they did surgeries, but they were never able to fix it. So I went totally blind in my right eye now because of retina dysplasia, and then nearsighted in my left, which is 2400. So pretty nearsighted. Yeah. All right. So, well, I just answered the second question being, I answered 1 and 2, really.
Oh, you answered 1 and 2 in one, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of go hand in hand. Number 2 question is, what is your condition? So mine, like I said, was retina dysplasia and severe nearsightedness. So what's yours?
Mine had to do with my retinas too. The center part of my retinas, I think, wasn't there. They didn't develop, but I ended up with peripheral vision. I guess that's the way to say that.
That's the way to say it.
Which means I can see from the side better than I can straight ahead. And
can you see anything straight ahead?
Just like maybe a shadow or something.
Well, you can see more than me on that because I can't see anything on my blind side.
But then my right eye is a little better, so when I walk around, I usually have to turn my head kind of to the left because the right side of my right eye seems to work better. So.
And what can you actually see?
Just like I can see light and dark and shadows and just different like light or dark colors and just like a blurry, everything's kind of blurry. I can see things like I can see the TV screen, stuff moving around on the screen and the light and dark and shapes and stuff, but I can't tell what it is.
Kind of like I like to tell people, for him, it's more like seeing through a foggy window. So, all right. So that's that question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is your condition? Number 3 is, how were you educated? Do you want to go first? You want me to?
I went to public school up until the 7th grade, and I was doing good, but as things got hard in my grades, I went up through the years, it was getting tougher, so I went to the VSDB school in Stanton, Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind, and they evaluated me up there, and they put me back to the 5th grade because they said I, hadn't really learned anything, so then I stayed up there, and then I went to extra classes off campus at a public school, took Spanish there, and then went to Votech and took horticulture. I was learning how to do farming stuff, outside plants, because I was born and raised in the country, so we always worked outside in the garden and just doing all kinds of yard work. So between my family teaching me. And up there, I learned quite a bit about. I mean, I'm an outside person. I always like to be outside. So then had graduation, and then I went on further to go to like a Vo-Technical center where I learned to work in a restaurant. I took small engine repair and did a little bit of woodworking and stuff, just learning extra stuff. So I'm now I'm older and kind of handy at pretty much anything.
All right. And I also started going to public school until I was in 10th grade, but my grades were kind of slacking and it was getting harder as I got older to keep up. And
Copycat.
yeah, pretty much. But I went further than you did. But once I got to 10th grade, they were like, there's a school for the blind. How about we check that out? I'm like, okay. So I ended up going to Stanton as well, to the school for the blind. I had also there's a rehab center in Richmond for the visually handicapped and blind. And I went there for summer adjustment, which basically taught freshmen, high school freshmen or pre-freshmen, different things, home ec type things, how to take care of yourself, independent living skills. That's the words I'm looking for. Taught us some of that if you didn't already know it, or refresher or whatnot, or help you get better at certain areas like cooking or whatnot. We did computer. We did what else? Did computer. Did arts and crafts, of course. They did have a teacher in there that worked with you on, like, if you were struggling with writing or spelling or vocabulary or anything. She helped you get better at that kind of stuff, handwriting. There was a Braille class if you needed to learn Braille more, or yeah, what is it?
What?
Mobility. Yeah, mobility. I didn't have to take that one though. I did take it. They did test me on it, see how I was about getting around town, because it's in Richmond, so they did take you around areas. And then after I graduated high school, or VSDB, I should say, I'd also gone back to the rehab center for college prep. There again, did some stuff with computers and things like that again. Also helped you prepare for job opportunities, taught you how to do resumes, things like that. And we both went to career seminar. Do you remember that? I went 3 years.
I didn't go.
Yes, you did. You went 1 year. You went senior year. I remember that because you and I went together.
Okay.
I've got
I'm going into Alzheimer's also.
So, education. I did some in public school and then VSDB. VSDB had smaller classes, so it did make it a lot easier to be able to do it. So, okay. Are you able to live independently? If so, what things that help you to be able to do this? For me, it's technology. Magnifiers. I use regular magnifiers, but I also have a magnifier on my phone. I have a smartphone. I'm doing this video on a tablet. I'm more into technology. I can do that kind of stuff. I guess because my sight, not necessarily, because we know people who are totally blind who have these same technology features and they can do it. Whereas Mitch is just a good old country boy.
Yeah, that's me.
Living independently?
Oh, yeah. I use talking stuff and, of course, taking home ec classes in school. And here again, my parents starting me out young on learning to do stuff. So I learned to do all that stuff. I mean, I cook some and got, like I said, different talking stuff. Of course, now the technology I like is my Alexa. You can ask Alexa, do pretty much anything. And then my phone, or, you got Siri, on there. But then I got like the monitor, talking blood pressure cup, and my phone talks. And, so it works out really good. And of course, still have family around to help me when I need help. And so, the good old microwave,
And things like for the kitchen, things like that are easier to use. For both of us could use the George Foreman. You've never used it though, have you?
I've used one before, not that one.
Well, George Foreman's are a good grill to use because you don't have to interact with it much. You put the food on it and you take the food off. So that's a good thing to use for being visually handicapped. Yeah, I mean, as long as you know times and how to time
The
stuff.
new things out, the air fryer.
Yes. There's two different types of air fryers. I'm able to use the digital one because I do have enough sight where I can see to push the buttons on the thing, like microwaves these days. If we had a turnstile one, like the old turnstile microwaves, he'd be able to do it.
I've always used a crock pot a lot over the years. Back when I was even first moved out on my own, I'd put stuff in a crock pot.
Now, he did say he can use a microwave, but we also have dots on the microwave for him to be able to know certain buttons. We have it on the start button, the stop button, and the popcorn button, isn't it? So that way he knows what's what, because he knows the popcorn button's a certain amount of time. Oven. This oven you haven't worked with yet.
Yeah, I have.
Have you worked with this oven? I meant starting it up. Knowing where the numbers are.
No, I haven't marked it or anything.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I've used the oven. And
you've used the oven after I've
used the stove top.
Yeah. He knows how to use all that because of memorization. Usually, markers are a good thing to use on appliances and stuff. Like
stickers.
Little stickers and dots. And
I got stickers on my washer and dryer.
So it does make it a lot easier. He's more old school, which I do a lot of old school stuff too, meaning the dots and stickers and stuff, versus using this technology they've got out today, because you can't always count on the internet to be there for you, so that you can use the stuff that, hey, Alexa, can start oven or stuff like that. But we have friends that do use some of that stuff. All right. Can you drive? If not, how do you get around? Don't say it.
No, I can't drive. Well, I don't drive. I can drive, but I don't. I just can't see where I'm going. But yeah, I've got drivers, I've got friends, and I've got drivers and neighbors and stuff. I do have a vehicle. A lot of blind people do. They have their own vehicle, but you have people to drive you places wherever you need to go. Certain drivers, certain people that are willing to do that, and I have a few people that drive us where we need to go. So that works out pretty good. It makes it a little tougher sometimes where I do live out in the country. I mean, everybody says I should live in the city for public transportation, but I've always lived out in the country. And
public transportation and sidewalks, walking, But yeah, I'm with him. Family and friends taking you around does help. Having certain people that you can count on, it is a big help. But if you're wanting to be more, we've got friends that live in cities or towns, and they get out and use public transportation. We both used to live in towns and cities and use public transportation, and that's fine. That's fine. But it's more what kind of lifestyle you like. It can be done if you want to live in the country, it can be done.
It ain't nothing like sitting out on the porch listening to the birds in the country and the country life. What are you dropping?
I keep almost dropping the tablet. Okay, next question is hold on. Is what emotional aspects affect your vision impairment? And that's
like what we were just talking about. Sometimes it's tough to. Not really, but sometimes it's, you have to figure out, like, if I need to go to the store or I need to go to the doctor, I got to call and find transportation or somebody that's going to drive. I mean, you just have to.
It can be annoying, and it can be, what was the other word I used? Annoying. You can get fed up. Aggravated. That was the word I was looking for. Aggravated. It can be that for well, for me, and
Especially if you want to go a distance, like you want to go visit somebody or do something like this. There's a Blind Lodge in Virginia we've been going to, and that's a ways away. I mean, close local trips, places ain't too bad, but a lot of people don't want to drive you 2 or 3 hours away to go to something.
I don't let my visually impairedness or whatever, and he doesn't let his blindness slow us down. We don't let it bring us down because it's not going to do you any good. You know, feeling lonely, yes, that can happen. I have been there, but it was because I wasn't able to stand. I wasn't being able to visit with my friends as much. Since I moved back to Virginia now, I'm able to be more in touch with him and my friends. The friends that we've had all of our lives. But knowing that even if we just talk to our friends on the phone, that helps. It's a family. Having others out there that that are visually handicapped or totally blind, we're a family. Whether we're young or old, the people we've met at the lodge were alumni that went to the school for the blind. Either one of them, because there were two at one time.
Yeah, she makes up for not getting to see people. She stays on the phone 2 or 3, 4 hours at a time.
So as long having friends is a good thing, and knowing that there's people out there that you can be friends with that have the same disability as you. You and your friends can act just like everybody else out there. You just have to change it up a little bit and do things a little differently.
Pretty much.
So, what type of technology do you use, and are you familiar with? Again, like I was saying before on daily living and all.
Yeah, talking stuff. Alexa. I got a Roku TV now that talks to me. And
yeah, he's got the Roku TV. But also, we've been picked on recently because we've gone, again, those words, old school. We have an old TV that was just given to us that works very well. And so the remotes are easier, the buttons and all.
I like the old stuff better.
Yeah, it's easier to use. Because you just memorization and all. And then he also has a stereo also that he uses a lot.
Old-fashioned stereo.
Yeah.
Big old box speakers, not little compact stuff.
But as far as technology around here, Alexa would be probably the biggest thing you use.
The biggest
and
thing
that's really only for music and stuff. We both use Google.
Time, temperature, weather. Yeah, Alexa will tell you anything.
We have Alexa and a Google. He has the Alexa in here, and we have Google in the kitchen, and there's one in the back of the house. So I use the Google a lot when we have internet for timers, like he said, weather, news, anything like that.
That's the catch. If you got internet, this technology is good as long as you got internet.
So it's also good to be able to know a lot of old school style. And technology is a good thing for sure, but yeah, definitely figure out how you can do stuff old school, like old timers and stuff, whether they're digital or turn or whatever for kitchen work or, other things that you can do depending on your site, what kind of site you've got. So, and then other important facts that you would like to share. Just know that you're not the only ones out there, and knowing that there's so much out there, whether it's the Department for the Blind or just knowing other people who are visually handicapped, older people that you can talk to get their input on stuff, what they do to do things to make life easier on them or whatnot. Social media has become big with visually handicapped people. So I watch TikTok a lot, and there's several on there that are visually handicapped or totally blind, and they share, we have a dog, they share their stories on there a lot and how they do things and all. So just know you're not the only ones. So there you go.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's about it, I guess. There's just something out there to help you. They've got something for everything.
And they do.
We even got talking scales to let us know how fat we're getting.
Or how high your blood pressure is. You've got your blood pressure cuff.
I mentioned that. And
Yeah, and thermometer.
thermometer and
digital recorder for your book to listen to books and stuff.
Listen to books and
yeah, definitely. That's something else. Listening to books and stuff, using Audibles or the Library for the Blind. They've got recorders that you can listen to books on, cartridges and stuff. And then if you like to read, do it. Magnifiers. I think it was called the CCTV. Enlarge. You can put your book underneath it and it enlarges your print and everything. That was a good thing to use. You didn't need internet for it. The mail's going by. You didn't need the internet for it, so.
Yeah, anything you can do without the internet's good, because the internet is like, it's just
It comes
it's
and
on
goes.
one day and it's off the next.
And depending on where you live, you might not even be able to get internet, like my mom's house, unless you have certain
Yeah.
money. But just know that even though you're visually handicapped or totally blind, that you can do anything you set your mind to. We've got friends that have been massage therapists. We've had friends that have worked in schools as a teacher's assistant or helping with other students that were visually handicapped. We have friends, older friends that were, well, one of them was our gym teacher. We know friends that work in let's see, what does Rory do?
I don't know what he does.
I don't remember what he does now, but he knows technology pretty good. But yeah, you can do anything out there. Just set your mind to it. So I hope this helps. And bye.
Bye.